What's up, everyone? So real quick, just wanted to hop through again some of the action today, cover the markets, and then get into my thoughts on the general action plus my focus list for tomorrow. So first things first, I was watching RBLX today on the gap up pre-market, kind of the exact same deal as I was looking at DDOG yesterday. This did fail though. So I took this 2 minute, you're not gonna be able to see it here, maybe I'll go to 1 minute. I took this 1 minute opening range breakout, got in at like 40.89 and then ended up getting stopped out low of day and then didn't revisit rest of the day. You know, if you put this on a 5 minute chart, you could say this never really broke out ORB. So again, I'm learning, like I said yesterday, and this is just, you know, it was a 0.1% equity loss, which is what I've allotted to testing out this edge. So overall, nothing really to, you know, hang my head on. Executed based on the pre-market volume, exact same thing as yesterday. You know, it was up 15%, 20% on the open, same as DDOG, and then, you know, it just didn't work out today. All good. So next is Udemy. I did not take this, but we get a close above the HVC, which is a good sign. I would have loved, again, today to be a little bit tighter and then move up tomorrow. As, you know, I kind of felt a little bit of pressure throughout the day. We ended up getting a good close in names like SHOP and DraftKings, but overall, I didn't feel like there was a ton of demand, and I'll go through that here in a second. So Udemy, I left alone. This is good action. SHOP, I sold half of my position up 3 out of 4 sessions after the HVC. I sold it plus 5%, and I have half of it with a stop at break even. So SHOP acting well, nothing to see here. Pins, this was actually a pretty strong close based on the day's action. It's held 30 a bunch. I like the action. I'm not in it, but I like it. Garmin, not a sexy name by any means, not going to be the fastest mover out there, but still holding above the HVC. Looks solid to me. This TT, Train Technologies, didn't trade it, but again, maybe a little bit slower of a name, but still working 5-6% up after the HVC. DKNG, obviously this is one of my positions, and I sold half of this at plus 5%, same thing as SHOP. There's nothing wrong, and that's the same idea as SHOP. We've been up 4 days straight, and I did feel like, you know, the general market risk to reward is not to the upside. So, you know, I'll leave half of it on the table with a break-even stop and see how it goes. One thing I am trying to get significantly better at as a trader is, you know, I have massive up days, you know, multi-percent up days on the account, and then I'll follow it up right after with multi-percent down days, right? So my selling timing is pretty poor, and what I want to do is take profits on these type of names, you know, reduce my position size, reduce my open risk, and, you know, open profit risk, I should say, and then, you know, live with the results. If this goes higher, cool. You know, I've already sold a good portion. I can sit. If not, good. I've already sold a portion, and I can, you know, again, I've made a little bit of progress based on the lows of the account. AMD, same deal. Feels a little bit like momentum today was just kind of meh. You know, this followed up really well from the HVC. Again, we're talking 5%, and that's pretty standard. DKNG SHOP, both 5% up from HVCs. So again, I'm just kind of watching it to see, you know, how it acts. PSN, this is the other name that I sold today in my portfolio. Nothing wrong, but again, like, you know, if we get some sort of gap down or whatever the case may be over the next couple of days, this name will most likely, you know, be annoying. So I didn't want to deal with it. Just got rid of it, about 0.5%. Nothing crazy, just watching it now. Roku, this is still holding above the gap it created after the HVC, so that's good news, good to watch, and we'll see if this can come back in, test on any weakness over the next couple of days. I will note we've held 80 twice now, so this actually is building for much higher. I do love this whole number of 80, how it's acting. So we'll see if, you know, this can actually maybe a couple more days inside and then out. Who knows? We'll see. LMAR, haven't traded this, just kind of watching it, but, you know, not really doing anything. A little bit like Roku, just a little bit weaker. Not anything to write home to mom about. Now, PLTR, I still have alerts and orders set down at this $17.99 HVC. Still not quite at that point yet, and I don't really feel like chasing it up. I do love the action overall. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I would, you know, love some sort of wick down early in the morning to $17.99 so I can get long. Dash, I almost bought this today. I wrote in my notes that I wanted to. It was showing significant RS in this period and then broke higher and then failed, right? So that action to me, and this is kind of what put my guard up, this, in terms of how it's acting, the setup, all that should be, especially where it's at 52-week highs, it should be, following through above the HVC, as well as LMND, right? So this has highest volume in 1 year, the second strongest we can get, or third strongest we can get in terms of volume signatures, just not really following through at all. So I took, and this was a boneheaded mistake on my end, I should have, it was up, I bought it here, it was up 8% to highs yesterday, and then I ended up taking a loss on this today at 15.89. So I took like a 2.5-3% loss, which is just boneheaded, just absolutely dumb. But yeah, that to me, LMND, Dash were the two things I was kind of watching pretty closely, as well as obviously RBLX not getting any sort of follow through. And then I didn't even talk about, which I don't even know why it's not on here, but DDOG, right? So that was the main thing on my end where I was like, maybe I'll put my guard up. But yeah, so, I bought this, like I said, yesterday here, and then have some sort of, I bought it through the HVC this morning, and then the whole position got stopped out for about $1 loss at, 10:45-ish this morning. So again, overall, you could go either way. There's probably some stuff that's going to work, some stuff that isn't going to work. I'm going the more conservative route. I don't love, if we just look at SPY, QQQ, obviously, we're up, kind of lost our momentum higher, which is not a bad thing by any means, especially as volume comes down. We're still drifting up. So I would expect to see some sort of quick snapback maybe to these moving averages below. We'll pop into QQQ real quick, and then we'll kind of get the same deal, right? So we're just in this range where risk to reward in terms of opening new positions isn't necessarily my main priority, and I don't feel like, I really want to put a ton of money to work, especially with how DDOG acted today after that was the highest volume ever. So overall, if we just look at the earnings gaps I have in my notes, DDOG closed below HVC, LMND closed below, Dash closed below, PLTR above, Udemy above, Roku, Shop, Garmin, PSN, Pins, ANET, TMDX all above, which is positive. I just want to see a little bit more oomph out of DDOG, LMND, and Dash. So again, I'm taking the risk-averse approach. I don't really want to give these a ton of room to move around. I'd rather just take the gains, hit the base hits, and then see where we land. So I hope that was helpful, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.